Good morning, dear teacher, dear community. Welcome to our day of mindfulness. Today we have a session of questions and answers. But before we start, I would like for you to get comfortable, adjust your posture, sit in a way that you feel comfortable, whether you're on a chair or on a cushion. And then once you adjust your posture, physically comfortable, then you turn your attention to your mind. Where is your mind at the moment? Maybe you can adjust your mind by just bringing it back to be with your body. Maybe it's thinking, or it's daydreaming, or it's in worries or something. Whatever state of mind is in, just bring it back to the present moment. And you can do so by way of your breathing. Let's come back to your breath. Use your breath as an anchor. We're not trying to control our breathing. We just simply be aware. Notice the breath. That's we have found is an easy way to bring the mind back to the body. Once the mind is back with the body and with the awareness of your breathing, you are in a restful state. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do at this moment, so I might as well enjoy being together in this hall. When we will listen to 3 sounds of the bell, and the sound of the bell helps us also to bring our mind back and to dwell in the present moment as we listen to the sound of the bell. Okay? Let us practice together. I just want to double check. Is it Father's Day today? Yeah? Okay, well, happy Father's Day to all the fathers, either here or listening online. So before we start, I'd like to briefly introduce our panelists. On my far left is Sister Mak Nyim, and then next to her is Sister Bat Nyim, and then next to me is Brother Thin Tru, and myself is Brother Phap Khoi. We've been assigned by the Sangha to sit up here to offer inputs to your questions. Please don't think that we have all the answers. We will try our best to address your question based on our own practice and experience. And so when you ask a question, please see if you could ask the question that comes from your heart, a practical question, something that's pertaining to your own practice, or your own suffering or happiness or difficulty, and not like theoretical questions. We won't have time to go into theory so much. And please keep your question short and clear. All of us here are bilingual, and English is not our first language, and so we try our best. And if in our response, if something that's not clear, you can ask us to clarify, and we'll try our best to do so. And we have a seat next to Sister Makngiem with a microphone. If you have a question, please come up and sit on that chair. And then those follow that person. If you have a question, you're welcome to sit on the cushion that's already set up behind the chair. And then one by one, you can come up after the other to get your question answered. And before you ask a question, we will listen to a sound of the bell to help everyone, to remind everyone to come back to the present, both the questioners and the listeners, so we all can be together. So please go ahead. If you have a question now, you're welcome to come up and just line up. And there's another option. If you wish not to be seen up here, you can also write down your question and pass it up to us. But we'll give precedence to those who come up here in person. Thank you.
Hello. Yeah. Dear Sangha, dear brothers and sisters, I have some concern that really comes from my heart and refers to several weeks ago when we had the Vesak celebration. There were many people here, 200 or more, I think. And as always, we had this wonderful mindful walk, which we all like so much, I do also. And on that particular walk, I was really tuning into that in the ultimate we dwell. There's no coming, no going, there's no past, no future. And with nature, it was really a beautiful experience. Then at the end of that walk, we were guided into a room, all of us. Brother Emptiness said, take off your shoes. And here are these wonderful calligraphy pictures that you can buy. It was like a shot in the head. From the heights of no coming, no going, the ultimate we dwell, we were dragged down immediately, without bowing out, into the historic dimension where our poor sisters don't have anything to dwell, in the historic dimension. And it hurt, because I had come to regard this community sort of a little second home, and a really true home where, other than other ashrams, the people here walk the walk, what's the word? They walk the walk and talk the talk, something like that. They are really into what they're doing. So that particular experience was very adverse to what I had come to love so much. And I thought, even to my friends, I said, I'm not going to go there anymore. You know, if they don't have the money to dwell here, why singing in the ultimate we dwell? First get your stuff to, and blah, blah, and I was really upset. They said, well, voice it, and that's what I'm doing. So I don't know if it's a real question. It is a question of sorts. Could it have been done in a more sensitive way? Like at the end of the walk, bowing out, and then coming back to reality. This reality, not the other one. We need some funds.
So, dear respected Tay, dear Sangha, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your sharing your experience with us. So, it just came up in my thought when you share. I just share from what I feel right now, and then maybe it's hopefully it's appropriate. But I feel that in life it's always like that. Sometimes we get caught, but life doesn't allow us to really enjoy, or things will happen. Anything can happen to our life. So that's why we have the practice of mindfulness to really be present and aware what is happening. So what you are aware is great, but sometimes in life we don't expect to be perfect all the time. So in our Sangha also we have shortcoming, and so that thank you for sharing, so that we can future we can do better and we can arrange better, so that you don't feel that shocking, but life is always shocking to me. So that's why we have to practice being present and be present. So when we present, we will know we will know how we feel and how we can stop that feeling, so that we can reconnect with life again. So historical and also historical and ultimate is all in connecting. If you are mindful, and thank you for sharing your experience, so that we can future maybe we do it outside and then we bring you in. But thank you for all supporting the sister to build the nunnery. So sometimes maybe we are shortcoming in our way of arranging time and arranging our life. So thank you.
Thank you, Thầy, Sư Thầy, Sư Cô, for being here for us today. My question is, when I practiced recently, I found myself looking at my thoughts. Many of them are negative thoughts. I try to think about why I had that negative thought, where it come from. Sometimes I know why. Sometimes I realize that, I have that thought because it can be family concern, something that rooted in my family, for example. And after I observe that thoughts and the reason of that bad seed, I don't know what to do with it. I don't know, should I keep that bad seed somewhere in me, in my brain? Should I forget about it? Or what should I do with that thoughts and that reasons? So I would love to hear your wisdom about it.
So, dear Thai, dear Sangha, dear friend, thank you for your question. At first, when you become your practice, everything will be new. Everything will be something that you're not familiarized in terms of your practice. And also in your breathing, your walking, and your mindfulness. maybe it has not yet strengthened to a certain point where you can make your mind and body calm. But you know that in life, when there's right, there's always left. There's up, there's always down. So the negative and the positive, they'll always be in your body and mind. And you have recognized where it comes from, maybe from your parents, maybe from your peers, your society. During our life, we are being watered by sense or impression, like we feel, we see through our eyes, we hear through our ears, and also unconsciously we are also being watered. Like driving, even though you don't pay attention to the billboard, but they also water unconsciously. Throughout the day, you're being watered so many things that you don't know. And when a cup of water is full, it will flow, overflow. So when you're recognizing a negative seed, and if it's light, you can transform it by breathing in, breathing out, recognizing it, and find the roots of that negative or the root of that suffering and transform it. But those that are harder, give it time. And I mean, giving time is by not just let it be, but find a way to replace that. In a garden, instead of a flower or lettuce or tomato, they always the non-flower, non-vegetable that's in the soil. So when you water, of course, together, negative and positive will grow together. So if you have time to mindfully picking out that negative and leaving back all the positive, sooner or later that garden will have more positive than negative. And also, for example, if you know that, you have a habit of eating something unhealthy when you're sad, then recognizing by saying, okay, instead of eating, you will either make a more healthy food, like a smoothie, or even doing yoga, or even doing some like hobby that replace that old habit energy. So when recognizing something that you feel is need more time, just write it down and give it some time and thoughts into it, and find a different thing to replace it. And imagine a candle. When you lit one candle, the light surrounding it is very small. But if you lit many candles, the light will shine so much. So that's your mindfulness right there. Being alone, it's just a single light. But if you come to a Sangha, if you come to a monastery, or you found a family or friends that can help you practice together, your mindfulness will grow. It's like that, so many candles that can grow. And with that light surrounding you, you have more concentration and insight into your problem, into your mindfulness, into your life. And it'll be easier to go with a friend, with a Sangha, than to go by yourself. So on your own time, you can do more reflecting and nourishing in terms of your life, have a right livelihood, have a right concentration, a right insight, a right mindfulness. So all of that can contribute to your transformation, in whatever that's transformation into a small seed, a medium seed, or a big seed. But everything takes time. It's like your step. When you come to the practice, maybe you only take two steps or three steps to bring your mind back. But then after the fourth or fifth, your mind will wander. But as you practice more, your mindfulness will be concentrated more on your step. Maybe you can carry it maybe 10 minutes, or even half an hour. So everything takes time and efforts. But don't lose faith in your practice. Be strong and be patient. Thank you.
Dear Thai, dear Sangha, so I've been coming here for a week usually, and this is my first time staying longer than a week. And so the other times, it's been a little easier for me to come here and maintain my sense of individuality. But now I come here now, and usually my excitement about the collective energy has become a challenge because sometimes I feel pressured to be so similar to the collective, but I am not the collective. So I often also see many lay friends who come. I see that the collective and the strong culture of the Sangha may feel extremely influential depending on the person, but it seems like there can be confusion and disconnect between harmony and the community, harmony and the Sangha, and where to be an individual along with that. So if you have any insights on balance.
So, dear Thai, dear community, that's a very thought-provoking question. I would just like to offer input from my perspective. Just to paraphrase, when you come, or a lay person comes to a practice center like this one, if you come short term, then everything is wonderful. It's very easy to practice and to harmonize, but as you become more familiar with the community, or as you stay longer or stay long term, and you beginning to see another layer, another level of involvement, which you might or might not want to conform to. It's sort of like gentle conformity, something like that. And so how to practice if you are a lay friend and you stay here long term, how to practice to harmonize with the community, but at the same time kind of retain your individuality. Let's see, I'm not sure how I can approach this, because I'm already a monastic, I'm part of the conformity. I think I can see the challenge in that, as a lay person coming to a community where there are a lot of monastics. There are different types of centers, where there's some centers you just come, and then the people that organizes activities, they also just come to the center, and then when everything's done, they close up and go home. But our center is one of those centers where there's people that stay here 24/7. It's like you come into somebody's house, and maybe the first 3 days you're a guest, but then the 4th day you're expected to contribute or to work or something. I think there's a term outside to talk about. If you stay more than 3 days, you're, no longer a guest or something of that sort. I think as for monastics, I think it's easier for us because it's already given. If you're going to join a monastic, you're going to conform. Conform is kind of like a negative, it has a negative connotation to it, but it just means that you harmonize with the Sangha. As you can see, we dress the same. We shave our heads. We pretty much men or women, we sort of look the same. And we shared living quarters, we share food, we share transportation, we share housing, etc., etc. There's a lot of conformity. But then for a lay friend who comes here and who loves the practice and environment, and then you want to stay longer, there must be some sort of conformity that you have to follow. Otherwise, it will be chaotic. Where our center is not like a hotel where people just come and stay and do their thing. We have a schedule that we all have to, I guess, quote unquote, conform to. You are expected to attend the scheduled activities, whether you're a resident or just a guest. Unless you have health issues, you need to rest or something, then there are always exceptions. And so the schedule, the meal times, the practices, living arrangement, we all have to conform to like a set of regulation so that we can make progress together. But in terms of, from my own perspective, being one of the monastics, I can say that although I conform to the community, but I have not lost my own individuality, or I'd rather not use that phrase, that term, but I guess I have not lost my uniqueness as a person. The setting of the monastery, the setting of a center, even with all these outward conformity, there are always space for us to be on our own, to be with ourselves. There are times when we write PPT on the board. That means personal practice time. I don't know how much practice you do personally, but for me, sometimes I use that time to be with myself. I can just sit and have a cup of tea and not be bothered by anybody, because that is a personal practice time or personal practice space. So there are space when I can be with myself and I don't have to be with the community. Even in terms of dress code, yeah, we all look brown, but there are different shades of brown. I have 3 robes, all 3 different shades, and today I prefer this kind of brown instead of a darker kind of brown. And then I wear this little memorial pin. It's my way of saying, express my uniqueness. We have a brother, Brother Phap Kong. Sorry to mention your name. But if you see him around, you will know that he's very individualistic. He's always have a scarf on his neck. I don't know if it's for warmth or just for fashion. But it's his way of expressing himself. He doesn't have to conform. Everybody have to be uptight and, rope straight and always like this all the time. And then he has many pins. I remember one time I had to ask him to take a few pins off, just kind of 1 or 2, not like 5. He loves to collect things for himself and for the Sangha. So there are ways, as you stay in the Sangha longer, there are ways that you can find that, it's not about giving up your own identity, it's about how to express it in a harmonious way with the Sangha. As a monk, I like blue, but I'm not going to say, for the sake of my own individuality, I'm going to wear blue, I'm not going to wear brown. I can't do that. That's not harmonizing with the Sangha. Or if you come here, you're expected to be vegetarian. If not vegan, at least vegetarian. You cannot bring meat in here and say, I want to express my individuality. I'm going to eat meat regardless. I don't want to conform to the rule here. Then this is not a place for you. And so we are always open to everyone to come and experience the practice, and hopefully you can stay long term. But I see that as you stay longer, you start to see deeper, you see different levels. And I'm very happy that you was able to pose a question that we can all be aware of and learn from. But please don't let that discourage you. If maybe someone come to you and sort of coercing you into wearing brown or something, you can say, no, I'm a lay friend, I don't have to wear brown. I can wear my colors. It's no problem. We don't want to coerce anybody into doing anything against their will. So I hope that input helps sort of illuminate your question. I don't know if the monastics would like to add. Thank you for your listening.
Lay person here. I thought I was just staying at an Airbnb and then discovered I was 3 minutes away. So here I am. I do a lot of racial equity work, a lot of diversity and inclusion work. And it is very close, it is in alignment with my personal purpose. It is exhausting and soul-sucking. And I'm wondering, how can I use mindfulness to both stay in it, to create change, and not be consumed by it? Thank you.
So, dear community, before coming here, coming up, I talked to Sister Batgin next to me. That I wish that I don't have to say anything. I just sit here as a flower, decorate for the panels. But she asked me to share something. Thank you for your question. And living in the community, we also contribute our practice and contribute our helping hand. So we serve, we practice, we learn, and we serve for others. We open the monastery regularly every week. We welcome guests and clean the hamlet, clean the monastery, and cook and clean and serve with happiness and joy. I usually remind myself that this is a great opportunity for me to qualify and improve my life, my happiness. I have the floor to clean, not I have a floor to clean, not I have to clean the floor. That's the, I train myself to have that kind of positive thinking. Sometimes if you come to the Blue Cliff often, then you recognize that for myself, in the age of the Dharma, I mean the years of the practice growing up. So I sit next to my sister during the sitting meditation time. It's been that I've been one of elder sister in the community. So I get more responsibility, and if I don't know how to deal with that, if I don't know how to maintain my practice and my happiness, then I been easy to get burned. Yeah, burned, and get the difficulty. So I practice to work, to study, to work, and to serve people with the non-self. How say not yeah, with the intention of non-self. I'm doing by Sangha hands. So I don't like sharing in the public people. I don't like I don't like at all. And every time the brother and sister ask me to come up to the panel and share the Dharma, I always find something else to excuse. Like last night, I come to my sister and say, "Can I excuse? Tomorrow I'm so busy. I have to sell calligraphy, and I can help in the kitchen, whatever. But I don't like to come up here." But then I recognize that habit energy, and it's burden me. Not because coming up and sharing with you, it's created difficult for me. But the way I think become difficulty. I think, I don't know if I share clearly. So I change that thinking, and I say in my mind that coming here as a Sangha, so I share from my heart, and I share from the Sangha speech. So it releases so much tension and stress. So I hope that I share my own experience and my own story that can relate to your story, and you can find your own question, your own answer for your life. I don't think that I have capacity to fulfill your question, but I hope that with my experience, you can, put into your life and use the practice of mindfulness skillful way, and to find the answer for yourself. And I hope that my brother and sister can add more, help me to add more. Thank you very much.
Dear Thầy, dear friend, thank you for coming up asking the question. As you asked the question, I reflect that we all need to do something in our life to sustain a normal life. For us, we have a four balance, that is working, practicing, studying, and playing. So as monastic, we have to even those out to keep our energy. As you know, every Thursday and Sunday, we have day of mindfulness, where we cook and we wash and we help out to host a day of mindfulness. And then when the weekend ends, we have a day of lazy day, which is a Monday, which we can do whatever we want. And a couple weeks ago, I read something saying that outside we can divide 24 hours to 8 hours. 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of hard work, and 8 hours of, and that last 8 hours split into 3 different categories, which is 3F, 3H, and 3S. The 3F is family, friends, and faith, which is the practice, whatever. The 3H is your health, your hygiene, and your hobby. And your 3S is soul, yourself, and something else, I forgot. But the thing is that I know your work is very stressful. Everyone's work is stressful, depend on each of our work. But outside our work, you have the right and you have your own will of choosing what to do. You have your weekend, a Saturday and a Sunday, to refresh yourself. When I talk about the word refresh, I remember that when in Vietnam, I learned the word F5. And we were wondering what is F5. But when I look into it, it's on the computer keyboard. The F5 is the refresh. So if something is wrong on the computer, you just press the F5 and refresh yourself. Renew, reuse. So when you're feeling stressed out in your work, you're feeling burdened, you're feeling any uncertainty, refresh yourself. Stop, breathe, close that lid, turn off the screen, go make yourself something good to eat, something good to drink, go for a walk, read a book, listen to a broadcast, do whatever it is to rejuvenate that stressful feeling that you've been going on. And as you know that a lotus pond out in front of the meditation hall, underneath is all this mud, dirt, all the old leaf, all the trash, whatever, rocks. But during the summer, in about a month, a young new leaf and a lotus will bloom out. And with a fragrance that all the brothers and sisters like to sit around and drink tea and enjoy that. So in your life, there are negative things that's not good, but there are positive things which you can renew and you can rejuvenate. So coming here is also a first step into letting go of that stress and following the practice, following a hobby or following a faith that you feel comfortable. That's also a way to rewind yourself. And during the day before you go to bed, you can take a warm shower, or you can spend half an hour just to sit and come back to yourself. Life is always running. Life is always moving. But imagine you're on a train. You need time to stop. When you put on a brake, the train needs a distance to wind down that speed to complete halt. So your body and mind is like that. The whole day you've been running. But during the night, before you go to bed, have your time to come back to yourself. Wind yourself down. And maybe drink a glass of chrysanthemum tea to give you help you sort of go to bed. But always remember, you have the right to choose what to do and how to move on the next day. Don't let your stress and burden in your work cause you to lose everything. It's not worth it. Thank you so much.
Dear Thai, dear Sangha, dear teachers, I know they won't say it, but they are probably the hardest working monastics in the world in Plum Village. I really want to share my gratitude for your practice across all aspects of your lives. I feel really fortunate to be here every time that I am, and I can carry what you provide for us out into the world. In the time since Thai's passing, I've spent a lot of time thinking, meditating, sitting with, and now leading into wake up, thinking about the future. I know that is sitting in the present, trying to balance thoughts with the future. I'm somewhat concerned about the future of the Sangha in terms of its youth body and the order of interbeing being quite aged. And I'm curious how you're thinking and how your practice is in the time since Thai's passing, and contemplating on how you move forward as a Sangha and how you maintain harmony, and how that interrelates with the wake-up Sangha, and how we as a community can better support the practice going forward.
So, dear respected Thầy, dear Sangha, thank you for your question and your concern and your love for the Sangha and practice. Talk about the growth of the Sangha. I've been in the Sangha about 20 years now, and I see the growth. When I went to Plum Village, it was only 20 sisters in Lower Hamlet, and we carry like 1,000 people for the summer retreat. And now I can see that the Sangha is all over the world, and we are growing. As long as we stick to the practice and we really do the practice, the Sangha will be solid and growing in terms of how do we offer our energy every day. We can ask ourselves, what is we contribute to the Sangha daily? Not talk about future, but daily in our daily life. So every day I go to sitting, I go to the activity. That's my contribution to building the Sangha and to solidify the community. So every action of your daily life, your thought, your doing the practice, you have to put yourself into practice so that you can see the future. But if you don't do the practice, there's no way, there's no Sangha future. So it's individual and also collectively. So every one of us contribute a hand in building. And Thay is here. I always feel like Thay is here. And this morning is a Father Day, so I also bought that image of my fathers and also teacher, my teacher. My teacher is like a father to me. He guides me. So all of us, Thay always remind us very simple. Just do your walking. When you can walk peacefully, you can make a step, then the future Sangha is there. The Buddha is there, and the Sangha will be there. So we need all young people, like our friend mentioned about the OI community. It's kind of aging, but they are doing pretty well. So that we can invite you to come and your friend, and through your practice, here and out there, you can create Sangha, a group of friends who practice, and that will enlarge the Sangha, and the Buddha will go in the future. But the matter is we do it now, at this moment. And so that we can generate the mindfulness energy, the peacefulness, and the firmness, and through your action every day, in your thought, in your smile, in your love of building Sangha. So I hope that you continue one of the core member, so that you can deliver that energy. And we are growing. We're not stopping. Since Thay, you can see, since Thay passed away, the Sangha still stabilized, and we all have to step up. Like before, I don't want to be at this place, but since my teacher passed away, I have to work harder to be more diligent, so that can be a source of peacefulness, source of solidity for my younger sister. So that's the way every one of us can do that. So you can be a teacher. We are teacher already. So I hope that will help you, and everyone please contribute a hand. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm also a layperson, and I will have to admit I'm very nervous about being here. But the previous question and answer really helped give me courage to come up here and share with you my question, which is that I am very new to the practice, and I'm working on being more mindful and more intentional in how I interact with the world around me, myself included. And something that's come up a lot for me is when I'm asked the question, how are you? It's such a simple question, but I find that my genuine answer is more complicated than that question is able to, that interaction is able to give. So I often just say, you know, I'm good, I'm okay, I'm fine, but that's really not how I'm feeling. But again, it's because it's the nature of that specific interaction that I think it's intended to be pretty brief. But I really, it's something that comes up so often, and I really do want to be more intentional in how I go about answering that question. And I imagine the situation here for the monastics might be a little different, because I imagine in your practice it's encouraged to communicate more openly. But just for lay people as myself, or just going out in the day, I would love to hear your recommendations on finding a way to be more true to myself to answer that question while still maintaining the kind of social contract of what that question means. I hope that was clear.
Dear Thầy community, thank you for your question. From my perspective, I don't think as monastic we're that different from lay people. So if you were to come and ask me how are you, I would, as brief as that, I would answer, I'm fine. So I hope you don't think that we're like otherworldly, that when someone asks us, how are you, and we're gonna have like a 20 minutes answer. No, we can also be very brief. I think we can judge the situation and I guess the level of relationship of the person that's asking the question. If that's just someone you just met, and maybe you can sense the intention that they were just socializing, just ask for the asking's sake, then you can just say, I'm fine. Or if you're not fine, well, so I'm not so good today. It can be as brief as that. But if you can judge, or if I judge a situation, oh, maybe this person is genuinely, or actually I feel like having time to listen, then I can say, let's have a cup of tea, and then we can share, and I can give my longer version of the answer. And so for me, we have to make an assumption or make a judgment on the spot, like, is this going to be, we can have time for this? If you were to come and ask me how I am while I was digging a hole to plant a tree, and I have 20 minutes before the sitting meditation, I'm not going to be monastic about it and say, let's have a talk, I will share with you. I will say, I'm very tired, I need to get this done. I might and I'll just do that. I think that might throw you off as this is a rude person, for example. But I think judging the space, the time, the energy, the environment, then we can formulate a response. Sometimes we're correct, sometimes we're right on, sometimes we're off. But that's also part of life. We try our best. So I think whatever you feel, you answer. If I feel really sad today, if that person has time, you can ask, tell me about it, and then you can sit down and have a conversation. Or if the person you just needed your response and you respond and the person maybe say something else, and then you go on your way. I think it's okay. Yeah, thank you.
So, dear community, may I add a little bit? For myself, I think more important thing is do I regularly ask myself how am I doing? Yeah. So if you can answer for yourself and ask for yourself that how are you doing, and answer for yourself how are you doing, you know better than others. Then if you ask regularly and you answer often, how are you doing? Then you be more, I think you know better way to deal with to answer others' question. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much.
Last question.
Hi, thank you, Thầy, and thank you everyone in the Sangha. Thank you. So before I ask my question, I just want to express my deep gratitude to all of the Suthei, Suko, and the Sangha for doing the work that you are doing and for living the life that you are living, and also for everyone here. Thank you. The fact that you are here today gives me a lot of hope in our world and in our life, and it means a lot to me. So thank you. I actually have two questions, but if I only have the chance to ask one, then just one. Okay. Okay. So my question is, so one of the practice that they always teach us is trying to be mindful, trying to be present in the moment. But in our life, right, and I think not just in our life for lay people, but also for your life, we do need to have a goal. And goal is something is in the future. And some people say that, I mean, if you do not really work and think about your goal, then you are not really going anywhere. So I have difficulty sometimes to reconcile that. How do I make sure that I am working and living towards my goal, but at the same time, I am staying in the present? So that's my question. Thank you.
So dear Thầy, dear Sangha, thank you for your question. In life, we are not bound to not having any dreams or goal or even a destination. But the thing is that from point A to point B, how do you go about? I'm not talking about right now a goal, but I'm talking about after this you go home. And home is your destination. You get in your car, you know the safety is putting on a seatbelt. You put in a drive, you start driving. But Are you driving home in a reckless way, skipping the red light, skipping the stop sign, not paying attention, going on your cell phone, texting, blah, 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 all of that? So it's about from the point that you start and the point that you end, how will you treat that so that when you reach that destination, you feel safe, healthy, strong, alive, and not stressed out. So in life, treat your life as a path that brings you health, bring you happiness, bring you joy. Whatever you do, that is the present moment to give you a foundation for tomorrow. Today, what you eat, what you drink, how you speak, how you think, how you walk, how you treat your body will reflect tonight when you go to bed and the morning when you wake up. So if you treat your body worse by drinking too much alcohol, eating a food that causes you a stomach ache, by tomorrow you have no energy to do anything. So if tomorrow you cannot do anything, let's not talk about your goal or your dream. So it's about the present moment right here and right now. When you hear the air that you breathe in, the walk that you take during walk meditation, that is a way to rejuvenate the stress that you've been having for the past 6 days of this week. And you know, by treating your body well, by watering the good seeds in you, watering the good condition, it will help you build a better tomorrow. So everyone, it's okay to have dreams and goals, but let that not be of today. Let it be something that as you go toward, you have many doors of opportunities, being good friends, reconcile with your family, or even doing something that you liked. Because life is impermanent. You don't know what is happening tomorrow. So why not wait till tomorrow by not starting today? So please enjoy today. Don't wait till tomorrow. Dreams and goals will always be there, but don't let it as a final destination for you. Be happy. Thank you so much.
So, dear Sangha, I just want to add a little bit to the response. And that practicing mindfulness, you don't have to try. If you have to try to be mindful, then you just kind of miss the mark. You're just asked to be aware of your breathing. That's the first step of establishing mindfulness. And there's no trying in that. You just observe your breath. And so, so the practice can be very, very effortless. And so don't try to be mindful. Don't try to practice meditation. You can just either do it or you don't, or be aware of it or not. So, and yeah, and I think one of the biggest misunderstanding about practicing present moment is that automatically we think that does that mean that you don't plan for the future? No, it didn't say that. It was just say being present. And our teacher has said many times that that doesn't exclude you from planning for the future. I think the difference is if you are lost in your planning or you're lost in the future and you forget the present, that's the problem. You can still plan, but plan while you're in the present moment. And it's doable. Here, we have to plan for the future. We have to plan for a day of mindfulness. We have to plan for the retreat next week. We have to plan to go here and there to give teaching. We have to plan ahead to buy plane tickets, for example. But between now and the time of departure, we don't have to incessantly think about it or obsess about it. That's the difference. You plan, you think positively, actively, and then when you're done, you're done. You come back to your breath. I think many of us tire ourselves out because we let our thoughts take us away. In the Buddha's teaching, there is right thinking in the Eightfold Path. The Buddha doesn't say that you should not think, but you think rightly. You think positively. then it's okay. But most of our thoughts are not positive, are not active, they're passive thinking, and they take us away from living our lives. And that's what the teaching is trying to get you to come back to the present moment and to leave the passive thinking. And only think when you need to think. I think that's the difference. So thank you very much for your presence, for all the friends who asked questions, and for the rest of us who are present and offer your presence and your listening. And thank you, our brothers and sisters, for offering your response. We will end with 3 sounds of the bell. So let everything you heard settle, come back to the present moment, enjoy your breathing, and then we'll hear some announcements. Thank you.